So let me start off by asking about the drive to 55, and one of the challenges that we see, and it came up in the Q&A earlier with Brian and James, the question of how Reconnect Tennessee survived the transition of political leadership.
Sure.
It came apart. It came into being in one political administration, and then parties changed, politics changed, and yet this drive to 55 persisted. How was that?
So that's a great question. We do have a new governor. Governor Lee started his term in January, so Governor Haslam was termed out. It was a party-to-party transition. It's still a Republican governor, though his priorities are quite different than his predecessor. I think the work that has been done to really embed this into the conversation, because Drive to 55 really has undergirded a lot of the innovation and a lot of the strategy that's been put in place in higher education. I think at least at this point, having a new governor, that's not something he wanted to mess with. And I say that respectfully, obviously, to the governor of Tennessee. He didn't want to mess with it. We also saw pretty huge legislative turnover. So Tennessee does not have term limits. So I know for those of you here in North Carolina and other states, this looks very different, but we don't have term limits. So about 1/3 of our legislature turned over last year, and that is pretty unprecedented. So not only did we have a new governor, we had 30% of the legislature was new. So we continue to just really laud all of the work that's been done, all of the progress that's been made since the 55% goal was implemented, and I think we're still chugging along. To my knowledge, nobody tweet this, please. Don't quote me on this. To my knowledge, we're still chugging along with 55%. I've not heard otherwise from the governor's office.
So let's go back to your doomed fiscal note.
Yes.
I just wanted to emphasize that and have you dwell in that for a little while.
Proud to have been wrong in this case.
You had to make the case that this was a good mistake to make. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering how people reacted to it. Were they able to see that this was an investment rather than a cost?
Very much so, very much so. So I think the biggest concern on the front end was just that nobody was going to do it. I mean, honestly, unemployment was so low, we'd seen great success with Promise, but the concern was, who are these adults even that are going to come back? And we have shown very much that there is a huge appetite for this. People do want to come back. Now, the elephant in the room is very often how we pay for this, and I'm happy to talk offline with anybody about the details of how we pay for all of this, but we do have adequate funds to cover this. We are not seeking an appropriation each year. We don't rely on the general fund. There's another pile of funds that pay for this. So the fact that this program was double what we projected is not ideal, right? Like, for my reputation as a fiscal note writer, like, that's not ideal. But we do have the funds to cover this, which is a very fortunate place to be.
It's also, I don't want to get too wonky here, it's also a last money in approach. Mm-hmm. So yes, it's not that Tennessee is saying, hey, we'll pay tuition for you up front, don't worry about any other scholarships or other things like that. There's an emphasis on getting the money that you're entitled to from other sources first, and then Tennessee is the backstop.
That's right, yes, sir. So anybody who does Reconnect is required to file a FAFSA. What we have run into is that for whatever reason in their past, or I mentioned default, I mentioned any other issues exhausting their aid in their prior life, we have paid full freight for more adults than we anticipated, and that's okay because it is an investment, to your point. But that has kind of affected the fiscal estimates as well. But yes, it is a last dollar scholarship, which is the same as Tennessee Promise. We expect that students get whatever federal aid and whatever other state aid they are eligible for before applying these Reconnect dollars.
North Carolina has something called finish line grants, and you'll hear a little bit from Governor Cooper a little bit later today about those. But what can you tell us about the factors that are most influential when it comes to getting an adult to come back? You mentioned there's kind of this tapestry of challenges that they have in making that decision. What's been most effective in helping them to push over the edge and decide to come back?
So I think where my brain would go, and where many of our brains go when we think about an adult returning to school, is the financial piece. I want a better job, I want different opportunities, and there's a lot of truth to that. But in the surveys that we've done and the qualitative work that we've done, we've really seen that a lot of this has to do with the family. It has to do with, I want to make my kids proud, I want to show my kids I can do it, I want to finish what I started 15 years ago. And more, I don't mean soft in a pejorative way, but softer things like that rather than I want my paycheck to be higher. So something that we have done and been very strategic about are these conversations with community partners, are these conversations about other state agencies. How can we support these adults to really re-engage so they can show their children, they can show themselves that they can do it, and ultimately, yes, make more money and have different jobs, but that first piece about really proving to themselves that you can do it has been fundamental. I've been to a number of graduations over the past couple years, and to see those adults walk across the stage and have their children cheering in the back, you know, Mom, Dad, and just I'm standing on the stage trying not to cry, which is completely embarrassing, and I can't believe I just shared that with all of you, but it becomes this very emotional, very family-centric kind of endeavor.
So this is, in many ways, it requires overcoming a barrier for the returning adult, but it also requires some culture change for four-year universities, or in some cases, two-year universities, that this is maybe an increase in an audience that they haven't seen at the same level.
Oh, absolutely. And it's particularly true in the community and technical colleges. So in Tennessee, the community and technical colleges are separate entities. There are 13 community colleges and 27 technical colleges. The majority of those enrolled in those institutions are adults anyway, different from the universities. But to the point about offering classes at night, or having your advising offices open at night, or if you need to talk to the financial aid office, is somebody going to be there at 6:30 in the morning before you go to work? Some of the processes have really needed to change and evolve because of this influx. So while they've primarily served adults anyway, now there's this huge influx of more adults coming in. So I think continuing to be innovative from the state perspective, continuing to support these institutions to be innovative. It's one thing to say, you know, keep your financial aid office open. It's another to provide support for that.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking Emily House for being here.
Thank you all.